Right then, welcome to a new Reyt Good road trip with me, Carl Maloney from RGM, Reyt Good magazine. It's an absolute pleasure to be joined in this electric car down in Manchester with Slow Readers Club.
Hello.
All right, lads.
Are you alright?
Hey, mate, you all right?
I'm good.
Good. It's I just want to say a big thank you, just officially, just for joining me on a Sunday morning over in Salford, just having a little chill and a chat, because you've had an amazing journey as a band, and I want to kind of get to the bottom of that. But I just wanted to mention, I've been a fan of the band for a while. I first saw you guys support October Drift in Sheffield at the Lead Mill.
Right. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Where would you start with Slow Readers Club? What kind of relationship have you both got with the band? Did you both join at the same time? Or?
Well,
me and Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. No, well, Jim was in a band with a few mates. Were you all before I joined?
I think so.
Yeah. And they put an ad in the paper basically for a singer, and I came along and auditioned, and
Yeah.
But no one else came, so.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
I got the job.
So, what were you doing solo stuff before yourself?
No. Well, I'd written bits and bobs through uni and stuff like that, and then I just like drinking too much basically. And
Okay.
And just,
to be honest, we had a few singers, so just to set the record straight, and he was by far the best one. and we got on with him the most as well.
So, what made you think, fuck it, I'm going to be a singer?
I'd always sung in school, and I just I just always enjoyed it. I never really wrote until I was thought about writing until I was at uni and that. And then when I got with these guys, it was then another level again kind of thing. But yeah, Omerta did okay. We did a couple of releases through Northern Ambition, which was a mate of mine, Rob Allen.
Yeah.
Got right here.
We did that basically because we had at the time we had label interest from Sony and people like that, and they were like
that early.
Well, yeah, and they said, "Oh, release something on an indie."
Yeah.
So we were okay. So I rang my mate and went, "Can we release something on your label?" And he said, "Yeah." It was as simple as that.
Because a lot of Slow Readers fans, when you're looking through the fan group on Facebook, which is great, the way that you interact with your fans, by the way, just on there. Cheers, I think it's brilliant just from looking, and that's one of them. But you're no longer the best unsigned band out there in the world, are you?
Well, no, we have got
the Slow Readers fans like saying that, don't they? That's about the best unsigned band in the world type thing.
You can still say that.
Yeah. We're just the best band in the world now. So. But,
I like that.
But we've got a deal now. So I mean, we slugged away at it for a long time, playing. Yeah. You know, touring and sometimes playing to like 10 people, sometimes playing to the bar staff and stuff like that. And you've got to work through that stuff and try and keep faith in what you're doing. And then we got we built up to a decent level in Manchester. We did like Gorilla, which is like 600 people or something like that. Sold that out, and we'd done Academy 3 before that. Yeah. And then we got offered the James tour, and then that gave us an audience around the UK. And like after that, we were selling out the Ritz and then Albert Hall. And then we got a record deal, so we've already got to
done it all, haven't you?
To the level where we're doing Albert Hall. So we'll see what happens.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. I'm being directed because I'm in Manchester and I ain't got a clue where I'm going. But I am moving to Manchester later this year, so I've got to get used to this. Moving to the big city.
Oh, nice one.
When I've done these things before and I've spoke to people that have been through the music industry and they've had record deals, what does a record deal mean? Because to a lot of bands it can feel like a holy grail. Does it feel that way to you? Does it shape up that way?
I mean, there's a few things that have fallen into place for us last year. So we had management, agent, all the sort of machinery that you have. And all the machinery that normal established bands have, we've now got in place. But before we were doing it all ourselves, so we would well, we were working with initially Scruff and Neck in helping us with tours. Before that, we were working with Neil Hargreaves of October Drift that you mentioned before, that you managed them. We did Crystal Bar for Tramlines with him a few years. So we before we were working with
amazing gigs. I was at both of those.
Cheers,
yeah, definitely.
We had we'd built, and there was a guy double denim in Leeds
Yeah,
as well.
Mick,
So we did our best to sort of have a look around at other cities and see what promoters were doing good things in the different cities. So we did that initially, and then Scruff.
That's a clever
started
decision
doing
to
tours.
make anyway. When you're looking at a town, because bands just like the idea of playing out of town and they'll just pick anything.
Yeah.
But you made the decision to research what people are doing before choosing.
Yeah.
Good tip for bands there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Because if you go to a city where you've got a promoter's built a reputation, or they've got a night that's got a good reputation, then you do get music lovers turning up to see what's going on, basically, and not just people bringing gangs of mates and that's it kind of thing.
Yeah, clever.
It just gives you a more chance of being in front of people, new people, basically, which is what you want to do.
Yeah, brilliant. So you briefly mentioned the tour with James has taken you the name more out of the Manchester and the North, more nationwide. So how did that relationship with, James, the band, how did that start, and what happened there?
It started from a tweet from them, actually.
Is that video you and Kurt did,
me and Kurt went to did a thing for Matter of Sound, a YouTube channel with a lady called Hattie Pearson, who was DJing on Radio XFM as it was at the time.
Yeah.
And she'd had her own YouTube channel where she'd get bands to do gigs in unusual places. So they'd had the lottery winners do it on the Metrolink, and no, it wasn't the Metrolink.
I love the lottery winners.
They got signed, didn't they, to Warner's or something? But
I saw him support the Wonder Stuff a few times
did you?
at Manchester Academy. Yeah, Miles on would champion him, and he always had him on it. All the gigs, and saw him in Sheffield. Yeah, cool.
I've not seen him live actually, but I know I've sort of seen him on Twitter and stuff. But so we did a gig at Central Library, and at the time we had a track called "I Saw a Ghost" that was quite new. Yeah. And me and my brother just turned up and did this thing in the reading room bit, this massive sort of dome bit in the middle. And then it was kicking around for a year or so, wasn't it, that video?
Yeah, it was about a while, yeah.
And then James tweeted it, Jim Glennie from James tweeted it saying, get on this track kind of thing. And we're like, Jesus Christ. So just went, we posted it on our social media going, this is mad. And then there's a guy that writes about us a lot, and he's supported us for years, David Brown in Manchester, writes for has a blog called Even the Stars. Yeah. And I knew that he wrote sleeve notes for James and knew them well and had followed them. So I said, we need to get a CD to him. And then we did a gig at Crafted Beer Festival at what's that place? Yeah. And we gave a CD to David Brown with a note in it saying we'd love to support you, and just through luck for us that they'd got a new album coming out, and a couple of weeks later we heard from the management offering us 14 dates, Brixton Academy. And then later we
ended up at Arena playing with them all.
Yeah. And Echo Arena as well.
That wasn't originally on the plan though. That was they just said that to us after. I think we did about 3 or 4 shows with them, haven't we? And Saul came to see us after we played a gig, because Saul, he'd stand at the side of the stage and watch our set and everything like that, and we'd be filming it sometimes on his iPad, and then he came to us and just said, right, we want you to play the arena with us if we can fit you on at the start. Go left here. Left here. He didn't say go left here. That was and then he said, we want you to play, and then we were like, right, cool. And then Liverpool came from the same sort of thing, didn't it? Yeah. So I think they'd seen us and then thought, I don't know, we'll give them a chance at the arena.
As a failed musician myself, I have dreams still about entering the stage and wondering what it's like backstage at arena gigs, and just what is it like, what's the excitement like when you can hear that hum of a big fuck off arena.
It's crazy, yeah. I mean, to be honest, when we played, there was probably about 2,000-3,000 people in there, and they were dotted around.
Right, fair enough.
But so it was. I mean, we did Castlefield Arena after that. It was proper. That was 8,000 people with them. But I mean, it was still amazing. And when watching, we went up to watch them from the back in a box, And when they were playing, that was phenomenal. I mean. Yeah, it's a good venue, isn't it? But I don't know. I think when we were, the years we've been at it, there's been many a time we've chatted in the practice room, going, if only we could get on with the band, get a break or whatever, or get more radio. Every band has those conversations going. You just need one thing that's going to be a catalyst for you, and that was fortunately happened for us, and then through them we met the Charlatans, and we've done a bit with the Charlatans and stuff, and then this is another thing about being a bit savvy is like, you know, looking for promoters and stuff. Last year, Jesus and Mary Chain announced their tour, and on their poster I could see who their agent was and stuff. So I found their agent, and I emailed the agent and said, we supported James last year. Yeah. We'd be good to support you, big fans, and we got support.
Great tip there, bands.
But
take note.
But we've now got an agent who does that properly.
Yeah.
But it's not as sort of DIY as it was. But yeah, it's you just have to be a bit savvy with shit like that.
My next question were around like talking about the struggle of being in a band and being signed and being dropped, because I had the perception that you'd been through that process, but apparently you haven't. You did it in a slightly different way. So just talk us a little bit about your experiences of the early days, and
it's always been
flirting with the idea of having a label and not.
Yeah, well, it's always been a fairly DIY. Like I said, like the Omerta days, it was my mate ran a label called Northern Ambition. He'd released an EP for a guy called Stephen Fretwell, who did quite well in Manchester. Was it Pioneers as well, somebody else, but he did a few releases for us. We had like Lamac Play and stuff like that back in the day, but it didn't break through. You know, we weren't anywhere near where we are now in terms of numbers at gigs and things like that. So it just there was no being signed or being dropped really. We just released through my mate's label, and that was it.
So that the first album, the Slow Readers Club album?
The first album was actually released on a again just Extenso, it was it was a guy that was involved in the first album. Give us a bit of money to help us out with the first album. Just went right. Well, we'll just what should we call the label? And Extenso was his name. It was like there was no real. Yeah. You know, no disrespect, but there was no real record label.
Was that the same with Cavalcade as well?
Yep.
Cavalcade, same.
Yeah. So they were both self-released, really.
Yeah. The next album is
we ordered the
first
CD
one on our actual label.
Yeah. We ordered the CDs ourselves. Ordered did the artwork ourselves. Ordered the vinyl ourselves.
Well, Cavalcade was my first experience of listening to you guys on the live one, and then I ended up listening to the first one after that. After seeing you supporting October Drift, Neil just said to me, "Jump on Cavalcade, you'll," and I think it was 4 months solid. It was getting to the point where I started to hate the album because I'd listened to it that much.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it honestly, just 24 hours a day, just all the time, just absolutely amazing album.
Bet you know better than we do.
I might do actually. But yeah, an amazing album. So yeah, originally thought you were dropped, but that's not true. So am I going right or left here, mate?
You can go straight on.
Straight on. Oh, here we go. We're in the heart of Manchester. Any sites that we're passing in a bit? Anything emoting any emotions between you guys?
We're crossing Deansgate now, and then we're going to pass Albert Hall on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Oh, where you played? Yeah.
Central Library after that as well.
Yeah.
Which one was the live one? Was that the library, or was that the live album you made?
The live one was in the library.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The just around the corner here is 42nd Street as well, in Indie Club.
We played there. No, we played the venue.
Yeah, we played the venue.
Reyt Good magazine. We've just started doing gigs in Manchester now. We're putting gigs on at Gulliver's.
All right, cool.
And the little castle just on Oldham Street. And we're moving to Manchester, so we're going to be doing a lot more stuff in Manchester. So Manchester bands, contact Reyt Good magazine. We want to hear from you because we want to do loads of stuff and new exciting stuff like this with you guys in Manchester as well. Little advert there, why not?